everyone, and welcome back to a Core 19 draft video. You may notice right off the bat that this is a video with post-commentary. To be quite honest, when I recorded this video, I mentioned some things during it. I talked about some stuff that's not quite relevant at this point in time. And talking about time, I'm very sorry that I haven't uploaded in quite a bit, but I've hit some road bumps that kind of took away my energy. But I'll talk about that in a bit. So, opening our first pack, immediately the Planeswalker caught my eye, and it's a fairly decent Planeswalker. I mean, 3 mana, get a 3 loyalty Planeswalker with 2/1 abilities. The first one offers you some card selection, like you can discard a card and then draw a card. And the second is some conditional ramp. If you have dragons, you can use Sarkhan to power them out ahead of time, or to fix your mana, if you get like Elder Dragons and you're splashing one of the colors. And the ultimate is also pretty powerful. For -7 you get 4 5/5 dragon tokens. And that should wrap up any game fairly quick. The other card that I like in this pack has to be the Vigilant Ballad. 5 mana, 5/5 Vigilance is really big as far as creatures go. And it does quite a bit of removal with his toughness and the Vigilance. Going into the next pack, the first thing that catches my eye is Lich's Caress. 5 mana, destroy target creature, you gain 3 life, is all very relevant. And as far as creatures go here, for red I like Havoc Devils the most. Just a 4/3 trample for 4 is fine. I also really like Felicino Pyromancer, just because it comes down early, it deals immediate damage to your opponent. And if you go for the aggressive deck, this is one of the really cool cards to get. Especially if you can also find a Motivator and go like turn 1 Motivator into turn 2 Felicino Pyromancer, give it haste, and put your opponents on 16 life, perhaps even before their second turn. I also highlighted the Starcrown stack for a bit, but I just went for the Lich's Caress here. I like the straight up removal. And I'm quite a fan of the Rakdos, the Black Rats archetype, especially if you can find some ways to interact with your opponent's board. And then it doesn't really matter how good your threats are. For example, just a Fire Elemental can get a lot of stuff done as long as you have the removal to deal with your opponent's stuff. Again, pointing out the green creatures here, I do like Vigilant Ballad. I don't hate Bristling Boar or Centaur Courser, because they're all really good on curve and do quite a bit of work. Also highlighting the Fire Elemental because, well, still it's a 5 mana, 5/4, it's on the curve. And the Higher Blade, because I do have a love for the 3 power dudes with Flash. They're basically just removal spells, right? Also, the Zenith Barons is pretty nifty here. Make sure that if we indeed stay in black-red, can make sure that we cast our stuff when we want to, fixes our mana a lot. But I'm really torn here with the Vigilant Battle, but in the end I do take these in the Barons, just because, well, Sarkhan is double red, the Lich's Caress is double black, and having the tap land that fixes is always nice. Normally I'd say don't prioritize these lands too highly, because you're bound to grab a few of them along the way. Alright, here I see this Volcanic Dragon. We have a Sarkhan. Obviously works really well. Just imagine go turn 3 Sarkhan and into a turn 4 Volcanic Dragon. That's pretty powerful stuff right there. So, no hesitation, just go for the dragon. And we wait for the next pack. So there are quite a few dragons in this set, aside from the Elder Dragons. You have also the Bone Dragon, which I believe is a zombie dragon in black. And we of course also have this Sparktongue Dragon, the 5 mana 3/3 as a common. So even those become really better with Sarkhan on the battlefield. Like your 5 mana 3/3 is kinda in and of itself. And it also have built-in removal, but then you have to pay 8 mana for a 3/3 flyer. But that kind of becomes pretty agreeable as long as you have Sarkhan in play. And here also is highlighting the Cinder Barons because, well, talking about like if we go into black-red, we stay in black-red, then the Cinder Barons is just awesome, of course. Right, so I'm not really sure what I picked here, highlighting the Abnormal Endurance because I think I talked about a bit how it's basically a reprint for double the mana. There was a similar card in Amonkhet, I believe, that did the same thing for 1 mana. I think I picked the Pyromancer here just because it's an early dude. It does deal some damage. If you can play it early, it does represent quite a bit of pressure right off the bat. So here we go, the Pyromancer cementing our red here, while we wait for the next pack. Alright, our is opened with the machine, which I really do like, and I'm not really fond of how it looks. Foil, I mean the art is really obscure like that. But yeah, we did open a Spark-Tongue Dragon, which is of course really nice. I just talked about it a bit. If you have Sarkon on the battlefield on turn 6, you can play a 3/3 flyer that bolts something, and that's just really good. And one thing I should remind myself of is just to not put these cards at the 5 slot, but at the 8 slots. Just because if you can, you just really want to cast them for full value. Picked up a second Spark-Tongue Dragon, picked up here a 2-headed zombie. Like, I really don't hate the Menace dudes, but 2-headed zombie, it's a bit fragile. And here I picked up a Naturalize, just in case we might just end up going green instead of black. And I do like to have the Naturalize. There are quite a bit of enchantments and artifacts running around, so that's a really good effect. Alright, so instead of the Fire Elemental in the last pack, we picked a Pyromancer just to have some more early dudes to cast. And we already have like 3 5-drops basically, so not too interested in picking up a Fire Elemental just yet. I think I picked one here up because, yes, Child of Night is a really good 2-drop, but seeing as we're not sure to be black just yet, I'd rather just have the red card. Plus, both are just uncommons. I mean commons, sorry for that. We should be able to pick more of those up later. So even if we end up cutting Fire Elemental and wanting another 2-drop in place for that, it just feels fine. Alright, I think I picked the Mind Rot here just because I'll really turn between Duress and Mind Rot. Duress is more narrow in its application, but you're more in control and you get more information out of it than Mind Rot. But I ended up going for Mind Rot because it is just one more card. And if your opponent is at 3 or 2 cards, you can just basically discard their entire hand or the most important part of their hand. Alright, here just some generic picks, Scholar, Islands, just the last few bits of garbage floating around. Now we just wait for pack 2, but this is a fairly good start. We firmly cemented ourselves in rats, being the dragon deck. And talking about the dragon deck, here we open up a Dragon Horde, which is basically just a glorified Manalith, which in and of itself is not too interesting, but it does allow us to draw cards if we cast dragons, and we do have 3 dragons. So it not only does it ramp us into our big flyers, it also gives us some extra cards. Now, if we had not the if we didn't have the Dragon Horde here, but you know, something less eventful, I would have gone for the Strangling Spores, just to have the removal. But I think that the Dragon's Horde here is just has the higher upside. Yeah, here was like Dark Dweller Oracle, that's not too interesting. If you go for the Black Rat's Sacrifice deck, you know, with stuff like the Doomed Dissenter or the Reassembling Skeleton, that's really awesome. But I just felt that this wasn't really for us. I mean, it's a fine card, just a 2 mana 2/2 early drop, it's fine. Maybe get some value off of it later in the game. I also really liked the Draconic Disciple, just because it also just ramps us from 3 basically to 5 if we hit a land drop. That also sounds interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Flink cards, but I have seen them perform enough times to know their value. And I think I'm really tempting. I was really tempted to take the Disciple here, torn between the Matador and the Shock. And I ended up doing the safe play and going for the Shock. I mean, if you get some of the tap lands, it might just be fine to have the Draconic Disciple, but honestly, you don't really want to splash to have a ramp dude in your deck. Alright, I think I'm going here for the Explosive Apparatus just because it does give you some reach. It is a removal spell. I'm also looking at this Remorseful Cleric because I'm kind of wondering about the amount of clerics in this, or not the amount of clerics, the amount of spirits in this set. Because you do have a Spirit Lord, but as for all the lords in this set, you have one rare lord for every color in this set. But the amount of creatures that get buffed by them are actually really low. So I'm never too keen on those. So here I'm talking a bit about Nightmare's Thirst, and I feel that I'm underestimating the card at this point in time. It most of the time just feels like a 1 mana, -1/-1, gain 1 life. We just come from a format where we have Fungal Infection, and that just feels like a way better card, right? It's still -1/-1, but you get a 1/1 out of it, so the potential for a 2-for-1 is pretty high. And we don't really have any life gain here, so I don't think in this deck we really want to have a just a 1 mana -1/-1, even if we get some incremental life gain here. In the meantime, I picked up a Goblin Instigator. I do like that guy for early defense in this deck. We picked up an Act of Treason, and here we talked about Metamorphic Alteration. That I think that card is actually pretty fine. It's a pretty fun card. I'm not really sure what I picked here. On color we only have the Sovereign's Bites. There we go. I picked up the Sifts. There was nothing really for us in that pack. And here I picked the Marauder's Axe over the draw card. Over the card draw, I mean. Mainly because I do like to have 1 or 2 good equipments in the deck. Just to be able to make your tiny dudes a bit more sizable and make them able to trade with bigger stuff. Skeletal Archer is a pretty nice pickup. There are a lot of X1s in the set, so it does act as removal. Plus, in a pinch, you can also just ping your opponent. So, pretty unimpressive last 6 cards. We do have an Infectious Horror here, we do have a Thought here. I'm not really sure what I took here. I took the Thought. I don't think I end up playing it, but it's fine to have. Walking Corpse, just a 2/2 vanilla for 2. Nothing really interesting, but if we end up facing like a really aggressive deck, we might just bring it in, just have some more early stuff going on, as not to be overwhelmed. Just pick the red card. Nothing really for us there. Golden Motivator came back. Like, this card, I think in the end just performed really well for me. It's quite a good card actually. It's really easy to overlook, just a 1 mana 1/1 that gives a dude haste, but if you play aggressive and you get the drop on your opponent, that can do quite some damage. Like just playing a Motivator on turn 1 into Pyromancer on turn 2, attack with the Pyro, have your opponent S16 before they before they even start their second turn. And for example, if you then go like 3 powered dude on turn 3, you attack for 5. And if your opponent didn't play anything on turn 2, on their turn 2, you just drop them down to 11 before their third turn, which is pretty powerful. Here, Infectious Horror, I'm not a big fan of this card. A 4 mana 2/2, yes, it has pretty much 2 unblockable life loss on its stapled on itself, but it's just way too fragile for my taste. And I mentioned something similar here about the 2-headed zombie. But for me, the zombie does have the it just feels more powerful in the sense that it trades more easily for 2 dudes than an Infectious Horror. Like, let's say your opponent goes 2/2 on turn turn 2 or 3 and another one on that turn 3 or 4. Like, what's your horror gonna do? Probably just nothing, while your two-headed zombie will trade with 2 dudes at that point. Alright, preying on the buttons, we're not gonna pick that, that's just a horrible, horrible card. Looking at the Box Stomper here and the Spark Tongue Dragon. The Box Stomper mainly because it is a sizable gentleman. And I do like that. And our dudes aren't too big. Our biggest dude we have is a 5-4 on the ground or a 4-4 in the air. So, kind of hoping that the Spark Tongue Dragon wheels here just pick the 6-5. And have just a big dumb dude. It's of course a far cry from the Worm from Dominaria, which is a 6-mana 7-6. But it'll do, it'll do. Right, so here I have the choice between basically in the end Electrify and Lich's card, and here I just highlight one of the cards that really doesn't do that much. I mean, it's just a dud in a vacuum, the Amulet of Safekeeping. And I pick up here the Electrify just because we do have a Lich's Caress already. And our curve is quite high, as it is. And for the most part, Electrify just deals with almost as many creatures as Lich's Caress. But most importantly, I kind of want to make sure that the curve is not too top heavy, and it kind of already is. So it made more sense for me to pick the 4-drop over the 5-drop. But all in all, I'm quite happy with the way the deck looks at the moment, and if anything, what I should pick up here are maybe some more 3-drops, because we don't really have anything going on between, aside from, you know, Sarkhan and Dragonheart, but we don't really have much between 2 and actually 5. That's where stuff becomes interesting. Alright, I highlight Skyscanner here just because it draws us a card, and I do like that over Tormenting Voice in a vacuum. I mean, it's 1 more mana, but it is a 1-1 flyer. And you can give it an axe, have a 3-1 flyer in the air, which is kind of redundant. Wow, flyer in the air, haha. Other things of interest, again, we have Nightmare's Thirst, we have a Regal Bloodlord, but I'm not looking to splash for that. So here I'm a bit torn between the Pyromancer and the Skeletal Archer. I do like the 4-4, but I think the Archer also has a nice upside here in being able to just you know, get rid of a small annoying ground dude, a small flyer like a Doppler or something, or just ping your opponent for 1 and apply some more pressure directly like that. Alright, here we pick up the Boggart Brute. It's a 3-2 menace, and like I mentioned, we don't have too much going on for our 3-4 slots at the moment. I like having the menace dude. Here, just a lava axe. It actually has done quite some work against me, and I've seen other players use it to create success. But I'm always just on the fence about like 5 mana sorceries that just deal damage to your opponent. It just kind of feels like, if you're being pressured, it's a dud. It doesn't do anything. Alright, pick the Infernal Reckoning. It gives us a way to deal with artifact creatures. And I was a bit torn between Havoc Devils and the Suspicious Bookcase. That's what it's called, the Bookcase. I think the Bookcase is quite an interesting card. It does block quite a lot of cards, creatures in this format. And of course, being able to give your big dudes unblockable is a very powerful ability. But I ended up going for the Havoc Devils just to have another sizable gentleman in the 4 slots, and giving me the option to cut something like the 2-headed zombie if we so choose. I also took out the Skyscanner. I kind of felt that Sarkhan also kind of fulfills the role of card selection. So I didn't really feel the need to have a 3-mana 1-1 in the deck. Here I think I took the Cinnabarons just to have more a more smoother mana base. But all in all, the deck looks pretty okay to me at this point. We do have 3 dragons going with our Sarkhan. We do have some early stuff going on. We have some late game stuff going on. Ended up taking the active treason out, just because it's kind of iffy. There are situations where it's really good, there are situations where it's not that good. Took an infernal scoring here, because there wasn't really anything too exciting at the point. Bringing back the sky scanner just because, well, I think in the end, in a vacuum, it's probably better than active treason, right? And it does draw you a card, and there are people that value it really highly, but personally, I'm a bit on the fence. I mean, just like the Elvis dude, the Rejuvenator. Yes, it kind of draws you a card. It gives you like the extra options later, but on its own, it's just at 3 mana, turn 3, a 1/1. That doesn't do much. It doesn't really add anything. Picked up a second Marauder's Axe. We're not going to play that. I think we're fine with 1. This, I think, is pretty much the deck. There we go, Stitches Supplier. This feels more like a modern card than anything else. And interestingly, all 3 basics we got were islands. But yeah, going with this deck. While I add the lands for the deck, allow me to talk a bit about the past 2 weeks, because I did talk about doing some gaming stuff and having all these videos on the ready. I kind of wanted to make sure that nobody would have to miss my uploads if they were like interested in my videos. But let's be honest here, who watches my videos? No one, right? So I just I had a few moments in the last 2 weeks where I just had bad luck, or other kinds of road bumps, and I just really didn't feel like I almost forgot the Cinder Barons. Wow, I just really didn't have the energy or the motivation to do editing, to make sure the videos are ready and prepped for upload, to do this post commentary, and I was kinda honestly just sort of feeling sorry for myself, which is of course not really a constructive attitude. And luckily I did get talked out of it, but honestly I just wasn't having a good time, and I did some drafts off screen, and honestly they went terrible, just really terrible. And I have to say, just to be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Core 19. I feel that the set just lacks so much design-wise. It just feels really lopsided in what the designers tried to achieve with, for example, the Elder Dragons on one hand and the Tribal Matters on the other hand, and also the whole 2-color matter stuff. And I get that from like why they did that. I understand that. Because, well, Ravnica's coming up, and that's of course entirely like 2-color combinations and the synergy between them and all that. But I also really dislike the way that they just put like really bad cards in the rare slot. Like nowadays, it's just really more that you if you open a booster pack, you're not wondering, oh my, what awesome rare am I gonna get? No, it's like, oh, I hope I don't get a do nothing card in my rare or mythic slots. Like, that's just really bad. I think that's just the worst design you can have. And I get that, no, some of these cards are meant for sideboard modern, but it just feels bad for other formats like limited. Like your draft and your sealed format is gonna suffer because of those kind of decisions, right? For example, if you get if you at the draft table only open like the do nothing rares, and your opponent, for example, just opens up 2 Elder Dragons and a Dragon Sword, then you're just gonna have a miserable time, right? Let's be real here. All right, so back to the game. I kept the hand because we had a nice punch here. I don't know what I did there, but we had a Goblin Instigator on turn 2, which is fine in and of itself. Played Sargon on turn 3 over the Bucket Brute just to because our opponent wasn't really pressuring us. They had a 1/3 on the board, so even if Sargon stays basically ticking up from 3 to 4, that's just fine with me. We do get that card selection. Plus we did have enough lands, so I kind of wanted to dig to more active stuff. Alright, so our opponent attacked Sarkon to down to 3 again, played an Arcane Encyclopedia. So as long as our opponent is focusing on Sarkon, all is just fine. We have a Goblin Instigator, we have 2 1/1s on the board, so basically we are just getting in for damage while our opponent is being sidetracked. Here I pitch a land again, and we draw another land. I think I play a 2-headed zombie here, just to get the 4-power dude, but first we attack, put our opponent to 18. And yeah, there we go. 6 power on board, feels good. Backed up by a Planeswalker, yeah, that's a pretty good situation we have here. So here our opponent goes Skilled Animator. This is a really bonkers card. I just found myself being really impressed by this. They make, for 3 mana, you get a 5/5 and a 1/3. Of course you have to spend mana for the 3/3 first, but even for 6 mana, a 5/5 and a 1/3, it's pretty awesome. So here I just sack my 2-headed zombie to save Sarkon. Because next turn we can just go ahead, electrify. Oh, we also draw Delicious Caress. We can kill the animator with electrify and just get in there and be happy. First, we're gonna see if we can draw something else. So I'm gonna pitch another mountain, draw a swamp, and I pitched that mountain because even if we don't have the Delicious Caress mana, we can still electrify the animator and be fine. At this point, we do have the option to just kill the Encyclopedia, but I ended up going for the animator. And I just completely forgot to play my lands, because I'm an idiot like that. Of course, no attacks, we just lose a 1/1, and I don't think that's worth you 1 point of damage. Alright, Aerial Engineer, that's a really good draw for our opponent. I'm consistently impressed by these white-blue artifact decks. I mean, this is what I mean by the lopsidedness of the color combinations. White-blue artifacts seems so good if you compare it to some other color combinations. Alright, so here we draw a Skeletal Archer. Not really sure if I want to go ahead and draw more cards, but I do think I end up doing that. Interestingly enough, if you want to take up Sarkon and you don't want to, you don't have to discard a card. You can just say no, otherwise you can just add 2 mana and tilt your opponents. But we did end up discarding the Bogger Brute because we do have Caress, we do have Archer. Didn't really foresee us playing the Bogger Brute anytime soon. So kill the Engineer, going up to 23, attacking our opponent, putting them to 16. And having still the roadblock on the field. So our opponent really can't go for a life total here. They're just wasting their potential blockers on Sarkon here. I don't foresee us getting to that ultimate anytime soon, but you know, as long as it occupies our opponent and we can get in for damage, it's just fine. So our opponent drawing a card here, which signifies to me that they're just digging for something. They don't have an answer ready to this board. They opted to not attack Sarkon. That leaves us with quite an okay situation. We can go Skyscanner and Pyromancer and just not do anything. And here I was like, yeah, let's just add some mana, do nothing about it. But I really should have played the Skyscanner first, see what we drew, and then decide if I just wanted to discard something. Like if we drew a land, I might have just wanted to discard that. But we drew a Havoc Devil, so in the end it didn't really matter. But it is quite of a miss sequence right there. So we ended up playing indeed Skyscanner and Faction Pyromancer, passing the turn to our opponents. So they can kill any of our dudes with the apparatus, or they can just shoot Sarkon for 2 here. Keeping him off as his ultimatum quite effectively. And it looks like our opponent is kinda torn between drawing a card, spending their mana on the apparatus, or something else. But they're still looking for something here. So they opted to draw a card, leaving 4 mana up, and I think they have, yeah, here it is, the Hieromancer's Cage, which is indeed an effective answer to any planeswalker. So here we lose our Sargon. And we draw a nice Spark-Drawn Dragon, which I feel is really sad. Like, if we would have drawn a land after this, then with Sargon we could have gone Spark-Drawn Dragon plus the Bolt a target. Alright, so here I attack with Pyromancer and with Skyscanner. Like, if they block with their own speaker, I have the option to add the Skeletal Archer to the board, kill their own speaker, and again, it's just a 3-3, right? So basically it's 3-3 or 3-3 here. Archer or Spark-Drawn Dragon. And getting rid of a blocker here, just the 1-3 here, felt fine to me. Yes, it doesn't fly, it doesn't have evasion, but still 3-3 is a 3-3. Alright, 3-5 is a sizable gentleman. That does block also quite effectively. So we're kind of stuck with that, but we do have the Skyscanner, so here I was a bit torn about between just playing the Dragon or the Marauder's Axe and Equip. So I think I end up just playing Dragon. That feels more relevant to get the 3-3 down than to make a 1-1 a 3-1. This just feels more mana efficient. And let's be real here, we're not going to wait 3 turns to see if we can find the lands to deal 3 damage. That just feels not really constructive. So, and having 4 flying power on the board just puts our opponent on a 3-turn clock. Alright, Militia Bugler. I still don't know if it's Bugler or Bugler or however you pronounce it. And I think they just whiff here. That's really sad for our opponent, but yeah, I don't think they found. Yeah, see, they whiffed here. No small creatures on the top 4 cards of their deck. But they do have a solid ground defense here. And do they... No, Mirror Image. So they're gonna copy their... I think they're copy their Bugler here. Yeah, there they go. And I think they whiffed just a second time. Yeah, there they go. I do quite like the interaction between Bugler and the Mirror Image. I mean, for 6 mana you just basically get 4-6 power on the board. 4-6 PT on the board. On 2 bodies and draw 2 cards, which is fairly powerful. Here we just take 3, we're at 23. In no way or shape are we in danger. And we can attack for 4 in the air. They didn't leave up mana for Apparatus. So I think I'm casting Marauder's Axe here. Let's just see. I mean, getting in there for 6 in the air seems fairly awesome. Then I'm not really sure what I was discussing here. Maybe see if we can... Yeah, I think I was talking about attacking with the Skeletal Archer and why it would be a bad idea. Like, even if you make it a 5-3 you attack with it, then you just trade your Archer and 2 mana for a Bugler. So we just attack for 6 in the air. Which pretty much forces our opponent to use the Explosive Apparatus next turn, draining 3 of their mana. But I think they cast like the 4-3 Angel here. So let's just see what our opponent does here. Oh no, they drew a card first. Maybe they were looking for summon or removal spell just to... Ah, and here the gig is up. They were playing Jeskai. I was really surprised by that. Because... It's not really... I mean, the artifact archetype, interestingly, in this set, isn't really red-based. just really feels a bit off, since pretty much most of the artifact-based sets up to now pretty much established artifact as like red, blue. Well, in this set, it's more white blue. But yeah, kind of surprised seeing the mountain there. They left their explosive apparatus mana up. So Durham Mountain, so we can at least cast our Heavy Devils and move our axe over. And for some reason I did not move the axe over to the Sparktongue Dragon. I guess in the end it really doesn't matter, because it still is a 2-turn clock. I mean, we're putting them to 3, so there's still to find an answer to this dragon. However, if you move the X over to the dragon, they would have been at 1. So if we had drawn our second archer here, they would have just been dead on the spot. Instead, I opted to move over the axe to the archer, so we could trade with the Gearsmith Guardian if they chose to attack. But they're really in no position to be aggressive here. They have to find an answer to this dragon or just die. And here they go, a third militia buckler. Well, actually a second one, but still, let's see if they hit something this time. So our opponent is taking their sweet time here with the militia buckler trigger. And there they go, dismissive pyromancer. So they have that. Oh, here's the angel. So it really intrigues me that they would splash like a red for a 2-drop. That seems kind of. I said that a lot, and I myself am that. It's kind of greedy. Like if you splash something for especially something that's later on the curve, that seems way more manageable than for a 2-drop, right? But what do I know? I always seem to have kind of bad luck with the splashes and whatnot. However, look at our opponent's board. That's just almost mono uncommons versus or mono common deck. But we are doing great here. So this is a bit of an issue. They do have the 4/3 dude on in the air, so they can block our Sparktongue Dragon. They can also attack, gain life. So we're a bit of in an awkward spot here. And I kind of feel like just attacking with the Havoc Devils and the Sparktongue Dragon. So they have to block both of them. And then we just trade in quite a bit of the boards for, admittedly, our 2 most sizable threats. And I ended up deciding to just attack with the Devils. So there we go. They traded in their Gearsmith Guardian, and this will put them to 2, of course. Kinda liking it, of course, because if we do draw a shock, then they're just dead on the spot. Alright, give the axe to the goblin, make it a more sizable threat on its own, and play the Zeppelin and pass the turn. So unless they have a creature or some other answer in hand, they just at this point can't really attack with the Heart of Fate. That's not going well for them. If they do so, we attack back. They go up to 4. Sparktongue Dragon puts them down to 1, and that's just not a race they're gonna win. So our opponent is taking their sweet time. They go to combat immediately and attack with the Herald of Faith and gaining 2 life. And here I'm pretty much discussing what I just said in real life, and I indeed down block. It just doesn't feel worth it. And I also completely forgot to mention, like, we do have Mortal's Axe, so the dragon is lethal on its own. And I do like seeing these guardians without any blue creatures. That feels kind of okay. So here we move over the axe to the dragon, and see if we can get in there for the kill. Can we? Can we? Oh, exciting! And they have the uncomfortable chill. So our dragon shrinks back to a 3/3. Really interesting to see that card in the main board, or in the main deck rather. But still, we put our opponent to 1. So we're still pretty much pressuring our opponent here. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't just swing in with everything. Not that that would have been a great choice, mind you. But yeah, that would have been a massacre. Alright, so they have 4 cards in hand. They can draw another card with the Encyclopedia. But unless they really have something, they're just in a really rough spot. So here they play their Pyromancer. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really good card. I really like it. I mean, again, it's 2 mana 2/2, which is fine on, you know, the early as an early play. It does give you some card selection, and it is a burn spell in a pinch. So that's really good. And here our opponent just goes ham with their Lar, with just going wide, just playing everything they can, and have a really defensive board here. And interestingly, they just chose to attack with their 4/3, getting 2 life, going back up to 3, because they do have the Remorseful Cleric on defense. But here, look at this, we draw an Explosive Apparatus. So we can play that, we can kill the Cleric, and then swing in for 3. They're tapped out, so they really can't do anything to this. So basically, basically they just died here. So we swing in with the dragon, and our opponent is about to concede. There we go. Alright, so time to go into game 2. Don't know if I really took anything out here. I kind of like the extra trees in here because of their flyers, and I just really wanted to see if it could perform here. Like, if we get like in a similar situation as just a moment ago, being able to snag like the 4/3 flyer or the 4/4 flyer, that seems all pretty powerful. And I am considering bringing in the Infernal Reckoning, just to deal with the Guardians, but I opted not to because it's kind of narrow, and just to have 1 removal spell for 2 dudes we saw. Although they do have this Skilled Animator, so we can also just remove something from the board that they animated, which is also fairly powerful. So I mulled the previous hands because, well, it had no gas. We did have a Mind Roll and an expertise and more other attacks, but you know, nothing to really cast. That pressures are that applies some pressure to our opponent. This hand I kept because we do have like the removal spell. We have the Dragon's Hordes. So even if we end up drawing up some higher some creatures with a higher mana cost, we get the ramp into that, right? So I led off with the tap land. We had no reason to play the apparatus on turn 1, and we could just play that on turn 2 as well. So just in case we draw indeed a 2-drop, I want to be able to play that and have the tap land out of the way. Plus Explosive Apparatus, if you want to use it and activate it in the same turn, that's 4 mana. So you really don't have any pressure to go for the apparatus. And our opponent takes some advantage of our slow start by not doing anything before turn 3 and then just casting an Encyclopedia. But here we go. Turn 3 Bucket Brood, and have the removal spell on board. So I'm not feeling too unhappy with our situation. Kind of scared that by the 5 cards in our opponent's hands. And here they go, Aerial Engineer, which is of course quite awkward. 4/4 flying on turn 4 is really good. Luckily we can just attack past it with our Brood because it has Menace. They can't block it, so we are gonna get in there for some damage. And then I'm probably playing Dragon's Horde here. We didn't really have anything else to do. Not about to keep apparatus mana up. I'd rather just have the ramp card on the field. Like if we draw, if we have stuff to do, we can just go Lich's Caress next turn, and see if we can cast this Spark Tongue Dragon with its Kecker cost and shoot something in the face. So here we're just taking 4, which is fine. We have this Lich's Caress in hand, so basically that's just 1 net life loss. So yeah, we're getting ever closer to the kicked Spark Tongue Dragon. But for now, it just has to be Lich's Caress on the engineer. Going back up to 19, attacking for 3 and putting our opponent to 14 life. And even if we don't have anything to do next turn, we can just shoot the Scholar of Stars. And presumably still get in there for 3 damage. Like, they put us to 16, we kill their Scholar and we attack them and put them to 11. Look at this is the second Scholar. Pretty nice. Draw another card. That's pretty good. That's for 3 mana, 3/2 and draw a card. That's pretty nifty. I am always on the fence with these cards that really heavily depend on your board state to do anything. But yeah, going by our opponent, it does do some heavy lifting, that shapeshifter. And here they play a second creature, the Mystic Archaeologist. I'm not really sure what to think about that card. Yes, it's a 5 mana, draw 2 cards, but if they do that, for example, next turn, that's just that turn. They just spend their turn drawing 2 cards. That's not too impressive. Well, in the long run, it is. Don't get me wrong, but if your opponent can apply pressure, you're just not going to use that. You're just not going to be like, oh yeah, let me just draw 2 cards and skip my turn for the rest. So here we attack our opponent, putting them down to 11. They can attack back, putting us to 11. But if we draw land, we do have the Spark Tongue Dragon online. And I feel that should turn the tide. Yep, our opponent attacks with both creatures. And I'm not really sure if that signifies that they have 2 creatures to add to the board or something else. And here our opponent is opted to go for a Manalith into an Aviation Pioneer. That's a really good draw for our opponent. We have a Shock. So I think at this point I just cast Spark Tongue Dragon, shock something. I mean, we do get to draw a card, which is really awesome, of course. So unfortunately, no kick. I think I just draw the card here just in case we find the land. So we can just play that and have the Spark Tongue Dragon ready to go for next turn. Alright, so we didn't draw land, we drew an Act of Treason. So I could shock something here and attack with a Pocket Brood. And let's see, what did I kill here? Nothing you said. First attack, see if they double block. And they did double block. And I accept the trade here. And just in case I have counter spells, I think I'm just gonna shock here. And I could just go for the 3/2 because yes, I'm kind of scared about about them drawing even more cards. But then again, if we draw land next turn, we can kill the Archaeologist anyway if they want to spend 5 mana and their turn to draw 2 cards. You know, it's fine. It's fine. At this point, we kind of want to get the momentum going, get the damage train rolling. It feels more important to get the 3/2 out of the way than anything else. And again, this is their third Militia Buckler whiff. I really feel for our opponent here. Here they go. The Harromancer's Cage, so they can get rid of our Spark Tongue Dragon if they so choose. And they do. Which makes sense, of course. Alright, so they're going to attack us to 9, of course. They have no reason not to attack. Next turn, hopefully we can just go ahead and Spark Tongue Dragon and shoot something of our opponent. Yep, there goes the Archaeologist. So we go down to 9. I'm not really sure what I'm talking about here. Probably just justification why I didn't shoot it. And I guess there are people that are going to be like, why didn't you shoot it? It draws them cards. And I'm like, yeah, they also have an Arcane Encyclopedia. And this does kind of cost them turns. So... And also it's a really small dude. So... and let's be real here, by this point they haven't activated it yet. So I stand by my decision here in letting the archaeologist live and learn. Alright, so here they finally draw 2 cards, which signifies to me that I don't have anything to deal with a Bog Stomper, which is pretty much why I picked the card. It's a 6/5, it's stupidly big, and a lot of decks do have trouble to deal with, do have some trouble dealing with, you know, the big, dumb dudes. Alright, so here I'm like, alright, so this is gonna be awkward. If we can get them low enough, we can steal this this Pyromancer and have some fun with it. But for now, I just want to go play this this. Oh no, wait, I did go for. Oh, I did it here. I completely forgot. Yeah, no, I just went ahead. Sparkstone Dragon. Use the Pyromancer to kill the archaeologist, which is just a nice 1-2 punch, and then attack with the 6/5. And of course they can just let that through, but that's a 2-turn clock, so I kind of thought they would block there, and they did. And that means that next turn we can kick a Sparkstone Dragon, get another potential blocker out of the way, attack for 6, and put our opponent to 5 and have 8 power on the board. It feels really good. I was kind of hoping that for the awesome play of stealing their Pyromancer and shooting them in the face with it, but I don't even know for sure. I don't even recall for sure if you can shoot players with it. But just can you imagine that would be just a real injury to insult, I guess. Let's put it like that. Alright, so here they had a Bugler and a skilled animator. Not too afraid of that. So yes, they can attack us for 5, put us down to 4. But we do have the Sparkstone Dragon. We can kill the animator. Get rid of the 5/5 in the process. And attack with the 6/5. So of course I'm gonna pay here for the for the lightning bolt. And there we go. Killing the animator, which is like a 1.5 for 1, I guess. No, it's not really 1.5. We got rid of two creatures. Is my point. Well, adding 1 to our board. We attack with the 6/5. Our opponent just took it. If they attack with the Bugler at this point, I'm just fully willing to block it, and not walk into something like the +2/+2 or something like that. But our opponent tapped out, added quite some stuff to the board. But here we have a lucky draw on Volcanic Dragon, which is just gonna be the end, right? Although I do say that it does. It's kind of a bit of an awkward play, because if we go Volcanic Dragon and we attack, they block the dragon, go down to 2. And then they can attack back, and if they have any pumps, we're just dead. So I was just kind of worrying about, like, they have 1 card in hand, they can draw another card with the Encyclopedia. And if they just draw even just a blue creature to make their Gearsmith Guardian a 5/5, we might be in trouble. Like if they have another animator in the deck, we're just dead. Is my point. So I was really struggling with what's the correct play. Do we want to be just aggressive to see if I can get there? Well, in the end, I opted to draw a card first. Well, 2-headed zombie is not going to do anything in this situation. Then I'd much rather just have the fire elemental on the board. But I did end up going for the aggressive play, drawing another card, or at least a potential card in the future, attacking with the dragons in the air. So they do have to block here. And I'm just gonna assume that they don't have anything to, for example, bounce the box stomper, or that they don't have a combat trick on the ready. So if they attack here, we can just eat the guardian with our box stomper and take 2. But yet they're tapping down some mana, so I'm like, oh my god, we're just gonna die here, right? So 1 with the machine, really good for them. In this case, it's just draw 5 cards, which is really good. So I'm back up to 6 cards in their hand. They have 3 mana to work with. So if they like any bounce spell, any combat trick, they just turn the tide here. So I'm really sweating at the edge of my seat here, biting my nails, just being generally just really nervous. But our opponent's taking their time, and there you can see, there we go. So match 1 in the back, and awesome. I really don't know what I'm talking about here, but probably going over my plays again. Like this was really close, and I mean, they just drew 5 cards. It's very well that they would have found an answer in that to this whole situation. But here we go, time for match 2, playing against Teddy Gundam. What do I have to? How should I visualize that? Like a giant teddy bear mecha? Alright, but this feels like a keepable hand. We do have the explosive apparatus here we can play on turn 1 or 2. We do have a pocket root for turn 3 and another removal spell in Electrify. So that feels pretty okay. And again, just in case we draw a 2-drop, I'm gonna lead off with this Cinder Baron. So if the tap land out of the way, we don't need explosive apparatus, I don't think, on turn 1. And here our opponent goes like, oh, exactly, the mirror, with a basic land into explosive apparatus. So let's see what we draw here. This Goblin Indicator, yeah, that's the reason why we go Cinder Barons on turn 1. Just to have the tap land out of the way, doesn't do so we're not hampered by any tempo lost from that later on. So our opponent goes for the second planes and plays a second apparatus, but this is quite some removal they have on board. I'm just gonna go for the instigator. I have no reason not to, and if they wanna spend one of their apparatus to kill a 1/1, that's totally okay with me. And if not, then we have 2 PT on the board. So we pass the turn. Our opponent shows their true colors by playing a swamp, keeping up mana. And we draw a swamp here as well. Chose to attack first. If they want to blow one of their apparatuses, sure, by all means, go ahead. That means less potential removal later on. And here I'm just gonna run out this pocket root. Like if they want to spend their apparatus, it's just fine with me. It's not the most important creature. It's really good, but you know, I'd rather just lose, for example, a pocket root than something else. So here they go, blow indeed one of their apparati to kill the brute. We pass the turn, and our opponents. Let's see what our opponent does. But they play pretty well with the apparatus, like not shooting it immediately, just keeping the mana up. And well, they just played another land and nothing else. So we're just gonna attack her with both of the goblins, putting our opponent to 16 if they both live. Kinda looks like it, so we play a Sky Scanner here, draw a card, and then we can at least play a land on the apparatus. Alright, so we drew our 7th land here, which is quite a lot. So at this point we have 7 lands versus 5 non-land cards, which is not an ideal ratio. And honestly, I just forgot to play the apparatus here, which is a misplay. It's a stupid play on my part. Again, opponent just displays land, does nothing. We do have a Sparkling Dragon here, First off, I'm just gonna attack. Get in there for 3 damage if you're allowed to. And it seems that we are put up 1 to 13, and then we just play this Spark Tongue Dragon. I'm not gonna wait here for 8 mana. I just want to add the 3/3 body on the board. So 6 power means that we have our opponent on a 3-turn clock. So they kind of have to do something here. Either play a creature or apparatus, or just play a Lich's Caress and gain 3 life. Basically just time walking us here, which kind of sad, but hey, there we go. That's our second Spark Tongue Dragon. Of course, first we just attack. I might as well, and play a land, play a dragon, and play the apparatus. So basically we are where we left off last turn. But I do feel somewhat confident at this juncture. We have the apparatus on board to remove a small dude. We have the electrify to kill a large dude. Our opponent does have quite a bit more cards in their hand than we have, but we do have the momentum here. Alright, the Drill Master is nothing really for us to worry about. So I kind of feel like just attacking here, not waste the apparatus on the 2/1. They can block like a goblin, and the trade is just fine. Like if they played like a 3/2 or something, then it would be a different story. But in this case, I'm just okay with it. So they blow the apparatus to kill our Sky Scanner. Get rid of one of the flyers. I don't think they're blocking here. They're just taking 5. No, they did block. Interesting choice that they opted for the instigator. I mean, if we do have like Macabre Rolls or something, we can just get it back, right? And if they block the Goblin token, well, that's just lost forever. Alright, so here I just went ahead, played a Mind Roll, and interesting to see that they just had the Dwarven Priest and the Alina in hands. Discarding both of those really makes me wonder what else they have in their hand. But it just felt really, really greedy to keep those back. But I think the card they had left was the Take Vengeance. Alright, I did forget to play the Swamp, I think, and not keep Electrify up. Did matter in the end, but again another misplay due to some hasty attitude on my part. So in the end here, we're gonna play the Fire Elemental. Lucky draw for us because we were basically out of threats here, but our opponent with now 2 cards in their hands. Well, 5/4 is a sizable gentleman, so that feels kind of okay to have that on the ready. Plus, with Electrify and Explosive Apparatus, we do have them dead on board. So yeah, here they go, Epicure of Blood. So we can just Electrify that, attack for 6, put them down to 2, and then even Apparatus is just enough to kill them. So we just Electrify the Epicure, get rid of their 4/4 blocker. Kinda sad to see myself slow roll here, but we put our opponent to 2, play the land, and just go ahead and kill them. So then that's one game in the bag. Time for game 2. I really hadn't seen anything for me to bring in something else. Not that we really have a lot of sideboard options right here. Yeah, we just run it back like it is. And see, I'm kind of liking this hand here. We do have a Motivator. So we can go turn 1 Mountain into Motivator, into turn 2 Cinder Barons, into turn 3 Bucket Brood, and if all the Menace dudes have haste, which feels pretty okay. And like I mentioned earlier in the draft, this little Motivator, it does quite a bit of work. Well, our opponents didn't really have a fast start last turn. Or last game rather. So I'm kind of confident that we can get quite a drop on them if we... oh, that's a good one. If we can curve out here. They do have the explosive apparatus, but they're still 2 turns off of that, so... See, this is the hypothetical situation I talked about. Pyromancer after a motivator, shoot your opponent for 2, attack them for 2, put them to 16, and next turn we can play a Bucket Brute, attack them for 5 if they don't have anything. And that's just a blazing fast start. Like, can you just imagine if your opponent has a slow start, and you go like Motivator into Pyromancer into Brute into the Boar Sorcery that gives all you do to +1/+1 and haste. I mean, I think that's just dead on the spot, right? Like, we've seen people play just nothing before turn 3 and then an Encyclopedia on turn 3, and if you're on the play, you just win before your opponent just had time to do anything. But yeah, here we put our opponent to 11. I think they just missed a land drop, interestingly enough. I don't know why they kept it in hands. Yeah, here they just scoop after missing another land drop. This is that turn 4, so they just missed multiple land drops. I really don't know why they kept that 1 lander. Maybe they were really optimistic. And we're like, yeah, if we just have 1 or 2 extra lands, we can just go a long way. But they didn't find their lands, and that's just really sad for them. But I know their plight. But yeah, I'm not gonna not take the opportunity. And if you hear something weird behind me, that's just that's the dog. Yeah, boy, we're talking about you. Yeah. So I've mentioned the dog a few times in previous videos when I would be upstairs and the dog would be downstairs barking at random passerbys or something like that. Like right now, everyone here is on holiday. They're pretty much they're abroad. Like I live in the Netherlands and everyone here is in Indonesia. Like they just went on a trip together, and then they left me to take care of the dog, and I wasn't too happy with that. But honestly, he has quite imprinted on me in the last week and a half that we had to spend together. So that's going surprisingly well. And he agrees with that. Awesome. Alright, so here we're going to match 3. We won the Darwell, so let's start. Kind of an iffy hand, but we do have the Goblin Motivator on turn 1. And if we draw any land, we can go Bucket Brute on turn 3. And a second land, if either one of those lands is black, we can go Archer into Archer, which feels pretty okay. So I hope to keep this hand. Our opponent is either busy or had to think about it a bit more. But here we are, turn 1 Goblin Motivator. And let's see what our opponent can do. Another white deck. This is the third one in a row, and look at that, the turn 1 explosive apparatus. This is deja vu, people. This is deja vu. Alright, I found a mountain. Attack with the Motivator. Kinda said it's not a swamp, but hey, it allows us to play a Bucket Brute on turn 3, so I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. Pass the turn back to our opponent. And it's white-blue again with a Diamond Mirror. That's a good turn 2 play. This is a good 1-2 punch for our opponent. Like, the double artifacts on turn 2 for the artifact deck is just insane. And they chose white for their life gain color. Alright, 4th land. Unfortunately, still no swamp. But hey, at least we can go Bucket Brute, give it haste, attack for 3, put our opponent to 16. So we pass the turn back to Polinho 76, and just wait for what they're gonna do. Apparently, they are heavy whites, given by their choice in color for the Diamond Mirror. So I'm kind of expecting some kind of white card. And unfortunately, they go with the skilled animator, making their Diamond Mare a 5/5. And they swing with that. So this is really an aggressive start for our artifact opponents, having a turn 3 5/5 that gains them life. So here we just drew a Sky Scanner. So see if we can draw a swamp, and we could not, unfortunately. So just play the mountain, and let's see. Do I give my Scanner haste? No, we just stack for 3 here. Keep the Scanner back to block and preserve our life total. Or, you know, give them some apparatus fodder. But yeah, I'm quite scared of the 5/5 at this point. I don't really want to keep our dudes back, because we can't trade here because of the apparatus. Well, they didn't choose to use their removal spell before attack. So let's see if we're allowed to go to blocks, and we are. For some reason, I just chose to take 5 here. And let's see what we draw. Still no black mana. But I'll play my Sarkhan nonetheless. That means that at least next turn we can play a Sparkling Dragon. I am gonna deck for lands here. Don't make no mistake. So discarding the Mind Rod, finding another black card. This is basically just a point where Magic starts trolling you, right? Like, you're looking for a black card, black lands, and yeah, your deck is just giving you black cards. So still attacking for 3, putting our opponent to 10. And at this point, I'm just kind of hoping that our opponent goes after Sarkhan instead of our life total. But that would seem like an odd choice all in all. So they decided to take 3, not use their apparatus to get rid of the brood. So we just pass the turn and see what our opponent does. There they go, kill the motivator, interestingly enough. Alright, play their 5th lance. Drill Master is quite a thing here. So they can make their skilled animator a 3/3 first strike on... oh boy. Getting for quite an attack here. And there they go. Make skill animator is 3/3 first strike. Really happy they don't have anything else to add here, because this is getting awkward enough as it is. So here I think our opponent is debating whether to go after my life total or go for the Sarkhan. And we're gonna find out about that. About the decision in a second. So let's see. Yep, Diamond Mare going to our face, and animator is... come on, show us the goods. Make that animator earn his money, earn his stay. I think they're kind of debating if they should send the animator towards Sarkhan. Maybe because, well, we are going to block the Diamond Mare, right? No matter what happens. So they might as well get a swipe at Sarkhan, putting him back to 1. Honestly, I feel that in this situation, you might as well go to the face. Your opponent is obviously just mana screwed. So be aggressive. They are at 10. If I block with the Sky Scanner, they have still 8 power on the board next turn. If they don't add anything, we go down to 7. So we have to sack the Pocket Brood. And there they go, both at our face. And I think I'm gonna. I think I'm blocking here the mare with the sky scanner. Yep, going down to 7. So at this point they just have lethal on board. And we're just in some trouble. We might recuperate a lot if we can draw a swamp, play a skeletal archer, kill the drill master, and have enough to block the diamond mirror and kill it. But as it is, we're in a heap of trouble. Our opponent is taking their sweet time here. There we go, down to 7. Go to their second May phase. They are casting something else, an Oreskos Swift Claw. Yeah, that puts us in an awkward spot. Still no swamp. It's technically it's black mana, but it's not doing us any favors here. So let's see if we can find an actual black producing lands. But I'm looking like, yeah, if we play an archer, we can shoot the Swift Claw. We have to basically double block the mirror. They can get in for 3, put us to 4. We lose our board and maybe cast another archer, kill the drill master, only getting out of this situation if our opponent doesn't draw any more gas. But that is only if we manage to draw a black source here. Alright, so we pinched the zombie. Unfortunately, no swamp. So this is a bit of an awkward spot here. Yeah, we can't really do anything, so we just scoop it up. This is for our opponent. And of course there's the swamp on the tippy top. Really, Magic just laughing their asses off. And yeah, be like, oh, this is what you were asking for? Here it is! Alright, so cutting 1 mountain for swamp. I felt that we had an okay balance for our, sources of color, but in the end, it just may just be a bit too iffy. I don't think I did anything else here. Just ran it back like it is. I do kind of like the archers here. I mean, of course, they're not dealing with any artisan, but they showed us 2 X1 creatures, and that's pretty fine. And here I am again pointing out the infernal reckoning, but I'm not feeling too comfortable with that. I think I should have brought it in, just to test it, see if it does anything. Yeah, I'm talking about it here again. But we'll see. I kept the silent. We can go turn 1 Cinnabarons, turn 2 Motivator or Pyromancer. Probably just a Pyromancer. And if we draw lands, we can go turn 3 Motivator into turn 4 Archer, give stuff haste, and do things. So no. I press turn 1 for our opponent. So here we just go Pyromancer. And here I'm just discussing what I just said. Like, we don't have a turn 3 play, so next turn we might as well just go play the Motivator, and then on turn 4 play in an Archer if we draw a land. But this represents more damage and more pressure, so this feels like the correct course. And there they go, Swift Claw, which is fine with me. Unfortunately, not a land. So I'm just going to take her with the Pyromancer. If they want to trade their Swift Claw for the Pyro, that's pretty okay with me. I have no issues with that whatsoever. They chose to just take 2, so here we play Motivator, and we pass the turn. And next turn, if we draw lands, we can play an Archer, kill the Swift Claw, and attack with 2-1 and a 3-3. Unless our opponent just prevents us by doing other things. Exclusion Mage, that's a pretty good draw. So the bouncer Motivator. And they attack for 3 again, putting us to 17. And by saying again, just attack for 2. So this is a bit of an awkward spot here. We're lacking lands here. So I'm gonna get in there with this Pyromancer. Like if they block, it's fine. If not, we're getting in for 2. So here they trade their mage for the Pyro, and the dog is really craving attention. Play the Instigator just so we can block the Swift Claw quite profitably, and then I'm gonna pass the turn. So opponent goes into a Drill Master, make that Swift Claw a 5/1 with first strike. That's quite a deal here. Of course, they attack for 5, and I will throw my my little goblin away, just to preserve my life total here. There we go. There's our 4th lands. And of course, being way hasty, I should have attacked with the Instigator first, but it's fine. Kill the Oracle Swift Claw. Luckily, they had no combat trick, and then we attack with the Instigator for 1 because we can just block a 2/1 just fine with our 3/3. So attacking an opponent, putting them to 15, passing the turn. I feel a bit better about this this whole situation. Kind of hoping to draw a red source here. Either to just play Fire Elemental next turn or go Motivator into Archer. Alright, here they go. Aether Tunneler on their Drill Master, making it a 3/1 unblockable. They're getting quite aggressive here, attacking for 3, putting us to 14. Well, we can attack back for 4, put you to 11, mister. So it feels that we have the momentum on our side, but hey, there's the apparatus, so that is a thing. Alright, Cinder Barons. Still fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead, play the Archer, hope they don't have like an Essence Getter here, but it resolves. We kill the Drill Master, 2 for 1 our opponent, and attack for 4. And I feel pretty okay about this situation. So next turn we can play a 5/4 or a 3/3 in the air. So yeah, kind of feel like we have the momentum here. Opponent plays a land, 2 cards in hand, and a remove spell on the board, so they could kill like the 1/1 goblin or the Motivator if I play it. Oh, here they go, Animator again. This is actually scary. Let's see what they make a 5/5 here. Yeah, the Field Creeper is like, you're not gonna make the apparatus a 5/5 at this point. So the 2/1 becomes a 5/5. It's got a nice little upgrade. We don't have any gas here. Well, gas. What's that? Gas here. So we could play a dragon for some flying shenanigans. We can play a 5/4 that deals with their 5/5, and I have to do the latter. They have no cards in hand. They have no pressure, and we do have some pressure. So next turn, if they don't do anything too scary, we can just get in there with the Fire Elemental, see if we can get rid of the Creeper, and then play our own 3/3 in the air, and see if we can get some stuff done. So here we go. That's a land. Unfortunately, not the red land we were looking for. This is quite ironic here. We just swapped one mountain for a swamp because we were lacking swamps, and now we're just lacking mountains. But yeah, we just get in with the 5/4. Our opponents decided to just take it. I don't know why, but they were like, yeah, we're not gonna trade there. So we put them down to 6. And here I'm debating, should I go for the 4/3 trample or just the 3/3 in the air? Let's be real here, the 3/3 in the air seems more relevant here, right? There are 3, so the dragon on its own presents a 2-turn clock. Although, I really don't think you can call a 3/3 a dragon, right? I mean, there are drakes bigger than this dragon. But I guess it's a Darky dragon, so that maybe explains everything. Alright, so in the face of this, our opponent just scoops, which I think is a bit early, but sure, I'll take it. Do I swap one of these swamps for an island for a mountain again? Yeah. Oh man, these mana bases. So unreliable. Alright, so we just run the deck back as it is. I kind of have the feeling that if we can just curve out and not have mana issues, I think we should be able to get the drop on our opponent here on Paul Inyo or Paul Inho or however that's pronounced. I don't know, but I feel kind of confident that we should get there and win this match. I completely forgot about the Infernal Reckoning, by the way, so that's totally on me. Otherwise, I would have brought it in here. Because I just keep forgetting that there's more going on with that card than I just read. I only remember the part where it just exiles a colorless creature. It also gives you life. That's fairly relevant. But yeah, we kept this hand. We have a power on turn 2, archer on turn 3, and there we draw a turn 3 play. So lead up with the Cinder Barons, get that tap land out of the way. Pass the turn back to our opponent. Just a second island, nothing else. So Motivator late to the party. And let's just go ahead and play this Pyromancer. So it just got Essence Scattered. It's fine with me. You know, better that than an Archer or a Box Stomper later on. So nothing else to do. Pass the turn. Our opponent plays an island and pass the turn back to us. Interesting. So I'm kind of expecting cancel here, but you know, I'm not gonna wait until they cast something before we do anything. I'm just gonna go ahead, play the Sky Scanner. Find another Pyromancer. So next turn we can either go Archer or we can go Motivator into Pyro. So we do have some options. So pass the turn to our opponents. Our opponents, let's see, adds another plane to the board. Aerial Engineer, which is scary. That is such a good girl. Alright, so we draw a land here. First off, we attack for 1, put our opponent to 19. And yeah, here I'm discussing that play. Should I go for Archer or Motivator plus Pyro? And it just feels that Motivator and Pyro just gonna do more in the long run here. So shoot our opponents, putting them to 17, and pass the turn. So our opponent has a potential 4/4 flyer on the board, 5 cards in hand. Kinda hard to believe that they don't have any artifacts. And then there they go, Bugler. So this basically just feels like the deck we're playing against in match 1 here. Basically almost a carbon copy here. So our opponent finds a trusty Pack Beast. Guess that makes sense if you play a couple of explosive apparatus. You can just get them back with the Pack Beast after you've shocked something, which is pretty okay. It does give you also a bit of reach. Alright, I do like a Havoc Devils here. So let's see what I do here. Play a Mountain. I don't really want to run out the Archer here because, well, we can shoot the Engineer for 1. Give the Archer haste and attack, and either it kills an Engineer or it kills a Buckler, or they just take 3, right? And then we can attack 4 in total with the Sky Scanner. Could also just play Havoc Devils and attack with that. Again, any block they make, we just trade either for an Engineer or they just lose a single dude, or they take 5 damage here. Right, so I opt to go for the Havoc Devils. We're gonna give it haste, and then we're gonna attack with the Devils and the Sky Scanner. See if we can put our opponent to 12 life points. And indeed, our opponent opted not to block, so well, we dealt our punishments. We're gonna pass the turn. Keep on hoping our opponent doesn't have something scary here. Exclusion Maze, that is a good draw, so they can probably bounce. Well, yeah, they bounce the Havoc Devil, basically just time walking us again. Well, I am glad at this point they don't have like an artifact, and I'm kind of surprised by this attack here. Felt really aggressive, but sure, I'll take 4, going to 16. Take our turn, or accept our turn, and so here we can just go Bulk Stomper and give it haste. Attack with a 6/5 and our Sky Scanner. Could also Skeletal Archer. Ping the Bugler, attack with the Pyromancer, but just adding a 6/5 to the board seems more relevant. And just hoping they don't have... And of course they have the second Essence Scatter, which is just really, really sad. So this does set us back quite a bit. I will attack for 1 in the air. Just to keep up the pressure, or at least, just the incremental points of damage. And make sure that we don't fall behind in that regard. Although we are a bit on the back foot now, especially Herald of Fate is a really good draw for our opponent. 4/3 flyer, that gains life. That's going to be an issue for us. So they attack with the Bugler, Bugles. He does hold like a bugle, like trumpet, right? They just attack with the Bugler. Bugler. I really don't know how to pronounce it. That's a really stupid word. Wow. We're just gonna take 2 here. And I draw a Mind Rod. So one of the cards that I've been least impressed with in this deck is the Mind Rod. So I think for future references I shouldn't use that card anymore, or at least not if I can avoid it. Alright, so here we go. Play the Spark Tongue Dragon. I'm not going to give anything haste. Rather not attack here. I mean, I will block the Herald of Fate if they just attack into our dragon. That's just totally fine, but I don't think we are winning this race as it is. Our dudes are smaller than our opponent's dudes, so I kind of want to stay back for a while and hope that we can draw something to get out of this situation. But here our opponent puts an Aether Tunnel on the Herald of Fate, making it a 5/3 unblockable. So that puts us on a 3-turn clock, and that's just really scary. So they go back up to 13. Now we kind of have to find an answer to this Herald here. We have 2 turns to do that. Alright, Swamp is not going to do it. So I'm not really sure what I did there here. We can play a 4-drop and Mind Rod. But this is basically one of the moments where Mind Rod is not going to do that much, because our opponent has a board presence that is already pretty hard to deal with. Making them discard a few cards, that's not going to make a difference in the end, I don't think. Plus, they get to keep 1 card, so their most important card is going to stay in their hands. And here they go. Pack Beast is going to go the way of the Buffalo, as is Scholar of Stars. While they don't have any artifacts, so it's just 4-mana 3/2. Not too exciting for them. I debate here if I should just go ahead and give the Devils haste and attack. I mean, I could jump a few of their dudes, like Sky Scanner in front of Aerial Engineer, Pyromancer trading with Mage. And then we take 7 damage in total. Doesn't change our clock at all. So I might as well just try and see if we can get aggressive and maybe get there in the end anyway. So yeah, attack for 7. If they don't really have anything to deal with this, then we might just be able to survive a card. So here we can trade with the Aerial Engineer. It's fine with me. It's fine with me. We're getting in there for 3. Yeah, I was kind of hoping to just draw a way to deal with this Herald of Faith sooner or later. Maybe we would still be able to raise them. I mean, probably not, but one can hope. One can hope. But we have to pause the turn here, losing our 4-3 for their 2-4. I'm just glad that it just didn't get the artifact upgrade at all in this match, because oh boy, this situation would be completely different. So here they attack with everything, gain 2 life, go back to 12. So that's the end result of our attack. Our opponent goes from 13 to 12. That's, oh boy. So here I'm debating if I should jump with the Sky Scanner or not. So in the end I did just that, try and trade the power for the mage. That works out. So we're down to 4 life, and in quite a precarious situation here. And here our opponent goes second aerial engineer. So again we're facing a mono uncommon board here. Drawing a land, that's not gonna do anything, so here we're just dead. And unfortunately not getting the 3-0 here. But well, we got close enough. Close enough. I did really enjoy this deck so far. So yep, we scooped it up, and that is that. Well, before we close off this video, obviously for this video I did things a bit differently than normal. If you guys like this post commentary over live commentary, you know, let me know and I'll take it in consideration. There are a few more videos that are gonna get some post commentary, but having done this just like so, I kind of prefer doing live commentary, just because, you know, I can't really take a break at this point. I'm just doing it all in one go, and it just gets kind of awkward if you misalign your sound with the video, and I kind of want to make sure that that doesn't accidentally happen. So I'm not gonna take a break while recording. So I've been recording here for I'm just talking here for over an hour and a half straight, which is oh, I can just feel my throat here. Anyway, guys, I do hope that you're happy that I'm back. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. There will be some other stuff going on soon. I'm uploading the last videos of Overlord for anyone interesting, and I have started the playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origin. So if you're interested, please join me on Twitch, where I also do most of my MTG draft recordings. When I do these recordings, it's not really set in stone. It kind of you know, changes in between recording sessions. Like, so sometimes it's a bit earlier, sometimes it's a bit later. But yeah, if you catch me online, you know, feel free to join me. So just add me, just follow me. You don't need to sub or anything, and you can just go in the chat and chastise me for making bad plays. Or you can just join me on Sundays, where I do stream regularly from you know, 1 PM onwards, which is 1 PM local time plus 1 GMT. So I'm all happy to have people in the chat and you know, banter with them. And I'm gonna see if I can set up another, you know, discussion or you know, ranting stream where I just talk with people and just have some fun in good faith. But that's all for now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, you know, consider leaving a like, leaving a comment, sub if you haven't already done so. Check out my Twitch, and yeah, I've plugged myself enough for now. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. So without further ado, cheerio.